Hey everyone, it's Corine Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know how we do it here on Between the Lines, always with gratitude, or some people say thankfulness, either one works. And I'm thankful to be here above ground as usual. Every day is a new day, fresh blessings, new mercies, to plenty do-overs. Yeah, second, third, 100, 1 million chances. Yeah. And I'm also thankful to be here with Kim Olver. I just absolutely love her background color. I have a thing for purple. I love the color. Yes, it's doing something. And you know, now that I look at her, I think she has the bangs with purple too. Is it that purple is wait, and the lipstick is purple? Kim, what is going on with you on purple? What is your relationship with purple? Tell us.
Well, I've just always liked purple from the time I was a little girl. And when I got to be old enough not to care what other people think, I just decided to own it. So I'm owning my purpleness and I love it.
I love it too. That shade in the back is just saying it. Oh, give me a moment, Kim. Give me a moment. I just love this shade in the back. It is so, I don't know. It's royal. It's giving off just peace. It's gosh. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Thank
my
you for that.
pleasure.
Yeah. And today we're talking about what's blocking you from reaching your full potential. I think that's a question a lot of us ask at some point in time. You know, we compare ourselves to so many people, things, our childhood friends, even our own self when we were younger. So, so we compete with ourselves, and we need to stop doing that. And why do we think? Why are we in the mind space of thinking that we haven't reached our fullest potential? What's missing, dear Kim? But before you go into that, I realized the purple caught me and I didn't properly tell people about you. Can you imagine that? I did. So let me just let people know who Kim is. So Kim Olver has over 3 decades of experience. Don't calculate that, people. She looks younger than that math. Okay. So she has over 3 decades of experience helping individuals and organizations achieve mental freedom, personal growth, and relationship success. She founded Olver International, is a leading expert in choice theory, psychology, and is the creator of mental freedom and innovative process she developed. So back to you, Kim, and welcome officially to Between the Lines. Why are people
Thank you.
feeling that they haven't achieved their fullest potential? What's that gap? What is happening in the minds of people?
Well, I think comparison is a big part of what you talk about. I also believe people forget to be grateful for what they already have. And when you can stop and take stock of where
Mhm.
you are now, not compared to other people, but where you might have been a year ago or
Yesterday,
five
Kim.
years ago or
Yesterday, Kim.
yesterday. Yes, ma'am. You can see that you have come such a far way. So
Mhm.
often we're looking, to where we want to be, and it seems so distant. But if we look behind us and we remember to be grateful with how far we've come, then I think that gratitude raises our energetic vibration and we can pull into our orbit those things that we want to attract.
I love that. Pull it into your orbit. You see those kind of cartoons where you see them kind of pull it
Just
in,
like that, with invisible strings.
right? Right? And you can get the moon
Yes,
closer to you.
that's right.
But
That's right.
listen, you said something significant there. And this podcast is about communication. As you know, I'm a communication specialist and consultant. So we want to bring out the communication aspect of it as well. This is what we are communicating to ourselves. We are comparing. We are not enough. We are not being grateful or thankful for what we have. we are living in two places at the same time, the present and the future.
And
That's what,
sometimes the past.
yes.
Sometimes we're stuck
And the
back
present.
there.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. And that is an interesting thing, Kim. Why would people be stuck in the past? I know a few people well, like they cannot come out of that spot. Why have they actually built tents, set up condominium, a whole city in the past? Why?
Well, one of the things I talk about in Mental Freedom is the unconditional trust challenge. And in the unconditional trust challenge, it's not using trust the way that we normally think about trust. If I say, Corine, I trust you, that usually means I trust you to be the person I want you to be instead of supporting the person that you are. So when we use unconditional trust with others, what we decide to trust people for is the one thing that I know they're always going to do. And that is every person at any moment is doing the very best they can to get what they want. And the reason we pitched tents in the past is because we have regrets about things we did that we wished we could go back and redo again. And we know we can't do that, but if we keep regretting it and punishing ourselves and guilting ourselves, then maybe we'll get some benefit later in life or in the next life. But
let me see if I can get that. If you punish yourself enough, something will change. That's what you're saying?
maybe that's what we think. But I really encourage people to use the unconditional trust challenge with themselves and go back to that moment of regret, or multiple moments. How we all have our moments, right?
For sure.
Go back to that moment of regret and ask yourself this question. First of all, you have to go back as who you were in that moment, not as who you are now with all the experience and all the knowledge and everything
No,
you've
Kim.
gained.
No, Kim. No, Kim. Stop right here. No, Kim. I know myself as me now. You're telling me to go back to go back as a person I was then. Tell me, how am I doing that?
Well, it's not anything you can do perfectly, but you have to put yourself back in that moment as the younger version of yourself that knew what you knew then, and ask this question, Corine. Did you do the best you could to get what you wanted in that moment? And I know the answer is yes.
Kim.
Yes, ma'am.
Kim. Kim, I didn't plan for this conversation to go this way, but you're taking me there. So listen, Kim, the fact that I have to become the 16-year-old or the 20-year-old, undo all what I have accomplished between then and now, that in itself should stop me from even going back in the past. That's what I'm thinking. I find that just too much mental effort. And you're talking mental freedom. Just to do that is taking me too much mental muscle just to do that. Forget the unconditional trust and forgiving myself. We're just to go back to the Corine of how much years ago? No, Kim. Mm-mm.
Well, the reason I ask people to do that, Corine, is because when they go back as themselves, they judge that younger version of themselves and they say, well, there were 10 things I could have done better. I know I could have done this, and this. But the truth is that as that younger version of yourself, you didn't have those options available to you.
Exactly.
You had multiple options and you chose the best one you had, which you now regret. But if you can think of who you were at that moment and answer the question, did you do the best you could at that moment as who you were to get the thing that you wanted in that moment? Then you can get to a place where you can stop judging that younger version of yourself. You can find some compassion for that younger version of yourself, and you can actually forgive and ultimately let go of that regret and pull up those stakes on that tent that you pitched back there and just let it go. Or maybe you want to rent it out to somebody else who needs it more than you, but you don't have to stay there anymore. And that's the reason I ask people to go back as that younger person, because otherwise they get stuck on, no, I didn't do the best. I did this terrible thing and I should have done something different, or I shouldn't have wanted what I wanted in that moment. But you can't stop what you wanted at 16. That's what you wanted. So did you do the best you could to get what you want? And the answer is yes.
But we are always living in the past, Kim. We are here right now. This is the past to the next few minutes. This is the past to next year, to next month. So what we are saying here, just pretend that we are having a conversation, which we are really, and we say something and we look back and we are like, gosh, I should have said this. I should have said that. I could have done. That makes no sense. Every moment is the past.
100%. 100%. I'm with you 100%. But when we think about the past in this current moment, it's happening right now because I'm thinking about it. What my thoughts are in this moment is what my thoughts are. I want my thoughts to be present. I want my thoughts to be in this moment. So sometimes if we can clear out those regrets that we had in the past, we can let them go and not bring those into the future, into the present, where we're beating ourselves up, hoping that we'll get some benefit in the future.
But what we did back then, and the person we want to punish back then, is what led us to who we are now.
True. That's true.
So the tools you had, the decision you make, as you said, was what we had at the moment. We were living in a particular spot with certain family members around a particular community. And so you had access to certain things and some things you didn't have access to. There were decisions you had to make to survive. You made those decisions, but you came out of that. And now you're living in a better situation. And you don't have to make those choices again. But because of the tools and the resources you had at the time, you had to make. So I'm like, yeah, we do have regrets, but staying there and punishing yourself for using the tools that you had at the time does not make sense. And you're actually holding yourself back from one, living in the present, the now, and actually sabotaging yourself for going into the future.
100%. You're saying exactly the same thing that I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't want to spend our time back there. We need to let go of those regrets and forgive ourselves because we really did do the best we could in that moment with what we had available to us. And to speak to what you just said about becoming the person that you are today, I speak about the GLOW, which is the last lesson of mental freedom. And the GLOW is an acronym that stands for gifts, lessons, opportunities, and wisdom. And if we can look at the painful things that have happened in our life that we tend to carry with us, and we can look for the benefits, the GLOW, the gifts, lessons, opportunities, and wisdom that situation brought to us, then it can release us from the pain that we hold on to because of those experiences. It doesn't take the pain away, but it neutralizes the pain. So it doesn't hold us hostage anymore. And we can move forward with confidence and assurity that we are not broken, that we experienced something and it's like steel, we're forged now through the trials and tribulations that we went through. And we're stronger because of it. But because our brains are naturally hardwired for negativity, we have this negativity bias for survival's sake. We don't even think about the GLOW. We just stay stuck and bonded to the pain. And it's the GLOW that can help us balance the pain and release us from the shackles that those painful experiences can create for us if we let it.
You said something there which I was about to go to, the negativity, connection to negativity. And I'm saying to myself, you're holding on to the regrets. What happened to the good things that you did in the past? What happened to those? Why is your mind focusing on that? No, I'm saying it as if it doesn't happen to me. It does happen to me. And I am in this point in time in my life. And I'm like, where the hell did you come from? That thought just came out of nowhere. And I'm suddenly feeling guilt. And I'm like, hold up, hold up. Let's have a sit down about this. Where did you just come from? Because I wasn't thinking it. Nothing was going on that made me want to think it. So I'm like, why are you trying to make me feel guilty for something way, way back that has
But I'm
nothing
not.
to do with, yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, I do like what you're doing. And I'm like, I know I made the decision. And what I do, I don't keep it in my mind. I talk it out, Kim. I have a conversation with it. It's like me and you sitting here. I have a conversation. And I say, thank you for showing up, but here's what, that's back then, and I did what I had to do. And I am not going to feel remorse, regret anymore. And whatever I've done, if it hurts somebody, I forgive, and I've moved on and I've had lessons from that. But I replace it with positive things, the things that came out of it or the things that I did that were good, as opposed to focusing on the negative. Why are we hardwired to only focus on the negative?
Well, I've studied some neuropsychology, and the experts say that it's for survival. And I think that our hardwiring for negativity is very useful if we're in life or death situations. The problem is we're not in life or death situations very often. My son joined the army, and he was in a war in Iraq, and he needed to be focused on every little thing that was slightly different than it was a moment ago, because that might mean that an attack is imminent. When you're walking down an alley in a dark place that you're not familiar, you better be hardwired for negativity so you get some spidey sense about something about to happen. But we don't need that hardwiring, that negativity bias for the rest of our lives. And that's what mindfulness is all about. It's about being still and sitting in the moment and realizing there is nothing wrong right now. Life is good. Right. I am happy. Life is perfect right now. But we when our life is perfect, we still drift to the negativity bias unless we've trained ourselves to do differently. And you have clearly done that, Corine. You've trained yourself to do differently.
I have to. We're at war, just like with your son. We're in Iraq. We have our own Iraq going on. You understand that we're at war. So we have to decide it's who is going to survive out of this thing. We have to survive. So it's survival. But for persons who coming back to because we spoke all of that to lead into the topic of what's blocking you. So you're saying we are blocking our own selves from our full potential. And how do we know that there's more if we are thinking negatively? How do we know?
Well, I think our mind is divided. I think that we as human beings, we always want more. It's rare that we're just satisfied with what we have, because when we get to what we want, then it's like, okay, what do I want next? What do I want now? So we're always striving. I think that's part of the human condition, to want more. But when we're caught, when we're caught in negativity, when we're caught in the past, when we're filled with regret, when we have the self-talk that you mentioned in the beginning, that's a thing I talk about in Mental Freedom too, is the stories we make up in our heads. And we make up stories all the time, stories about ourselves. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve it. Who the heck do I think I am to write a book? Who the heck would ever read my book? Why would, and oh goodness, now they're going to know for sure I'm a fraud. All of those things that we tell ourselves, right? And then we make up stories about other people. Like, they don't like me. Every time you walk into a room and people are talking and they immediately stop talking, you think, oh, they're talking about
you.
But they probably don't even know who you are. They were talking about a private conversation and you weren't a part of it. So they stopped talking. Or you're the speaker and you walked in the room and they stopped talking because they figured, oh, it's starting now. All kinds of things could have been happening, but we always go to worst case scenario. And while we're holding on to striving for what we want and all the reasons we don't deserve it and we shouldn't have it, it's like we got one foot on the brake and one foot on the gas and we're going nowhere. So we need to really do the work to take our foot off the brake so that we can full steam ahead to the things that we want. And I would also say, don't beat yourself up if you slow down or you come to a stop along the way. Just know, okay, I made a mistake. What can I learn from this? And get your foot back on the gas. I mean, if you decide I'm going to do it and then you make a mistake or you forget, that's okay. That's normal. It's just like meditation. You don't beat yourself up when you have a thought. You just say, oh, isn't that interesting? And you get back on the focus on your breath, right?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? That's what I say. That's what I say. Oh, isn't that interesting? You just showed up just like that. And I talk like that, openly. You just showed up just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you come from all of a sudden? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but it's very interesting what we focus on and then expect, as we say, the orbit pull from the universe to come into us. So we're saying one thing, we're speaking out to the universe negativity, but expecting to pull in the positive thing. And that is what is causing the gaps, reaching your full potential, because you're really blocking yourself. And, as we talk, and when I created the topic for what we're talking about today, Bob Marley came to my mind. I don't want to, say the wrong words about his song, but he's talking about mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Everybody's supposed to know that song, and it's really us. We are imprisoning our own selves. Nobody locked us in there. No, we have the key. We carried ourselves in there, lock ourselves in there, and actually holding the key. So you could come out at any point in time, and it's your choice. And you talk about choice theory. It's your choice. The choices you make determine where you go, where you end up. And I think, as I talk it out, Kim, I think there's such an excitement to making choices. Don't you think? You don't know exactly where you would go, what could happen as a result, how far that ripple will ripple out in the water, who it will touch, how it will touch you, how it could come back. I find it's such an exciting thing of making a choice. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, choices are the most exciting thing we have. I mean, you were on my podcast, and my podcast is Life Equals Choices, Choices Equal Life. And with every choice, we're creating the life that we're living. And I just want to say, I love that you brought up Bob Marley, because I use that quote in my book. And the subtitle of my book, you wouldn't know this, but the book is Mental Freedom. The subtitle is You Hold the Key. Just what you said. It's just like you and I are like right here,
I'm telling you.
It's amazing. So it is true that we hold the key and we need to make choices. The challenge is that not everybody has the information they need to make different choices, which is what Mental Freedom is all about. It's trying to help people with 6 main areas in their life that I have found trip people up all the time, and teaches them how to do it differently, what to say instead. One of the things I talk about as far as language goes is we have about, I'm making up the number, but we have about 1,346 things a day that we tell ourselves we have to do. I have to get out of bed. I have to exercise. I have to eat a good breakfast. I have to take my supplements. I have to. And as you think about all the things you have to do, you are like weighted down. Like,
of course.
What a horrible way to live your day. I have to go to work. I have to pay my bills. And I challenge people to find the reason why they do those things. Why do you have to get out of bed? You don't have
Right.
to. You can stay in bed all day if you want.
I
You
say,
don't have,
I say, I'm a
yeah.
proponent of that. Stay in your bed all day.
Well, when you can find the reason why you do it, then you realize, oh, I don't have to. I actually want to. I do want to go to
Exactly.
work because I want to have a house and I want my car not to be repossessed from my driveway. So, yes, I want to pay my bills. When you can shift it from have to want to, it really unlocks a part of your mental freedom. So
and
there,
people, and let me just interject here and jump on that. People even make you feel, and you allow them to make you feel that you have to. But you have to. You have to do this and you have to. Why? If they're doing it, they take their have tos and pass it on to you, and suddenly it becomes your have tos. And you're like,
yeah.
wait a minute. So you're living out everybody's have tos and not even recognizing that if you have any of yours.
That's right. And I don't think you must have any have tos. I think that's a fallacy. The only thing I know that I have to do one day, eventually, a long time from now, I hope, is one day I'm going to have to die. I think everybody will leave this plane.
Of course.
That's the only thing I really have to do. You say you have to pay your taxes. Well, look at our president in the United States. Some people don't pay taxes, right? And they're the president. Some people don't pay taxes and they go to jail. Some people don't pay taxes and they get fined. Some people, you don't have to pay your taxes. Yeah. I want to pay my taxes because I don't want to go to jail. So I want to. I like my freedom. And it doesn't feel like such a chore then, right? It's the weight of the have tos that we carry through life that are totally unnecessary.
And you know the thing about that and the whole breakthrough people are looking for, and the comparison is that sometimes we see, and social media does this to us too, and then family members. You're like, if I follow exactly what Kim is doing, I would get the same results. If you follow that. No, the path that Kim is on is meant for Kim. We talk about the universe. Each one of us has a plan. We don't know it. We hope to know it through discernment and connectivity and alignment and your meditation and spirituality. But if you're not on that, it doesn't matter. There is still a plan for you and a plan for Kim and a plan for me. And so if I decide I'm comparing myself to Kim, Kim's success, we went to school together, we were living in each other's houses, our parents know each other, everything, we know the same. I know her favorite color is purple and everything. And suddenly my life isn't going the way because I feel, but Kim doesn't really have anything more than me. But if I follow exactly what Kim is doing, I will get the same results. No, it doesn't work that way. Why is that, Kim?
Well, because we're all individuals. And because, one of the things that I even talk about is we have to find our path. And how do we find it? By going inside and our communication with our higher power, with our spiritual guardians, the angels, the ancestors, the people who are looking out for us. And so when we're able to go inside, we find our own path and we take our path. There are, of course, I believe there are some universal truths. And one of those universal truths we spoke about already, and that is living in the moment. That is a good thing for everyone to do. Live in the moment. Meditation is a good thing for everyone to do.
Right now, this moment.
Right. Now. Now. But how we do that is completely different for each of us. Yeah. I know that I am a single woman. I have been a single woman since 2012. And the people who know me and love me, they know what a loving woman I am. And they want me to have another half of myself, as if I'm not fully whole by myself. And so they're trying to, introduce me to people. And I really think so they can be more comfortable because I'm perfectly comfortable single. And I'm comfortable going out with my married friends as a single person. I don't feel like I can't go out with my married friends because I don't have a partner. That's silly. But
But
if
have
people
to.
think I
Kim, you have to. Kim, you have to find a man. Kim, you have to. You
know, and
have to get married.
I don't.
You, you have to cook, clean, wash, and iron. You have to come over and complain about a husband. You have
Oh,
to.
right. Like
Kim, get
everybody
with the
else.
program.
But that's the
That's
thing.
right.
That's not my path. That's not my path right now. But people think it should be my path. And you need to
They
be
have
strong
to. Yeah.
enough once you know your
Mhm.
path to not allow outside influence to have you deviate from your path unless you choose it. You can choose
Amen.
detours along the way, but
Amen.
don't allow that to be done to you by other people. That's how we get
Amen.
way far in the weeds from where we intended to be.
Yeah, in the bushes. That's what she's
Yeah,
trying to
that's
say, in
right.
the bushes. Okay. That is a great note to end on, because people really need to know themselves. And if you don't know and you're confused about your path, about your potential, where you really need to go, just take the time. There's no clock over your head. There's no time. There's no rush. Take the time. Take the time from your phone. Take the time. You are worth it and you deserve it. Yeah. And appreciate and love you. And stop communicating to yourself all these things that everybody else is telling you that is not even your own voice. It's not even your own voice. You're hearing the voice of your parents, the voice of the church, the voice of your school, the voice of your friend, your voice of your neighbors, your voice of everybody else except yours.
Right.
Tim, in the final moments of this episode, wrap us up.
Wrap us up. Well, I just want to say thank you to you, Corine, for having me. Thank you for challenging and pushing back on the ideas, because that's how, I know that I'm on the right path. And thank you to the audience for being with us and for doing the work. Because if you're here, I know you're doing the work. So
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much,
that.
Kim. Thank you so much, Kim, for being on Between the Lines. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.